How's everybody doing out there tonight? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 9:55 Club Roast of Jesse Thomas. I'd like to remind everybody it's a regular comedy show, no shouting out, no heckling. We're going to have a great time. Right now, if you need anything for the bar, Adrienne is back there. She will help you. And right now, I am going to introduce your roasters for the evening. How about a nice round of applause for the roasters coming to the stage? Tom Dustin. Ray Bullock. Buzz with one Z. Odyssey Michaels. Derek Rock. Corey Marshall. Roy Rogers. Andrew Pauly. Jesse Jarvis. David C. Wingfield. Rick Bruner. And right now, coming to the stage, the reason we're all here, the man of the evening, make some noise for Jesse Thomas! Everybody look at this guy, Jesse Thomas. All right, we are here. I'm sure some of you are wondering how a person prepares to roast a young man boy like Jesse Thomas. I smoked a lot of weed, and then I demanded that the roast be held at Bottoms Up Pizza. Because if I'm going to sit through this shit, I at least want a fresh slice of pepperoni. And right now, how about this dais that we've assembled for you tonight? It is a who's who of local nobodies. Yeah, seriously. It's not good when the best thing created by somebody on this dais is cake on a stick, all right? They were so desperate for talent that they had to import a nobody from Boston. That's right, everybody. Tom Dustin is here. How about it for Tom Dustin? Where are you, slippery bitch? All right. You know, Tom made a huge sacrifice to be here tonight. He drove 11 hours to be here for the roast. And, that is pretty much the saddest thing I've ever heard. I thought that he made the drive because of his commitment to hate on people, but it turns out he just wanted to get drunk in a pizzeria instead of alone in his bedroom like normal. For those of you that don't know, Tom Dustin is a real piece of work. Tom makes fun of a shark attack survivor in his act. He explains that the girl who had her arm bitten off wrote a book called Swimming in Circles. Her story inspired Tom to write a book about his comedy career. It's called Running in Place. Obviously, I'm kidding. Tom hasn't written anything new in years. Zap, bitch, who's next? All right. Roy Rogers is here. You slew-footed bitch. Roy Rogers is bringing the races together. Having a black girlfriend has finally fulfilled his dream of dating a girl with a bigger ass than he had. Thanks for wearing those skinny jeans, playa. Appreciate it. We got Ray Bullock here tonight. Ray Bullock is the founder of the 955 Comedy Club. It's been a Richmond institution for 14 years. And you might not know this, Ray does reenactments of Patrick Henry's Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death speech at the historic St. John's Church. And if you have not seen this, you need to check it out because he does a fantastic job. He's actually the only person I've ever known that looks less weird in a powdered wig. Out there. My friend Corey Marshall is here tonight. Oh yeah, Corey Marshall. Wow. Where are you, buddy? Look at that head. Last time I saw something so round and chocolatey was in a bag of M&Ms. That's right, I said chocolate head, which happens to be Roy Rogers' favorite sex act. That zap was brought to you by Nick's Mustache Wax. Jesse Jarvis. You long-winded piece of shit. I'm watching you, Jarvis. Oh, yeah. You are truly a man of mystery, Jesse Jarvis. I often wonder to myself, how can a man so short write jokes that are so long? Don't answer that, Jarvis. I only got 5 minutes. Odyssey Michaels is here, my old friend, Odyssey Michaels. Odyssey is the proud former owner of Rita's Comedy Club. In the words of Chris Rock, grand opening, grand closing. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, Rita's, if you didn't know, Rita's stood for rolling in the aisles. It's just too bad people weren't walking through the door. David C. Wingfield in the house. You know, they tried to make Dave's nickname the Bear. He did not accept that. And personally, I think that he just needs to look for the bare necessities. The simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities are Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. That was a long way to go for no laugh. Much like Dave's door joke. My friend Rick Bruner is in the house tonight. Rick Bruner, what a treat to have you here. I must say, honestly, it is a shock to see you here because I thought things were going well for you. I mean, real talk, how bad is business if you have time for the roast of Jesse Thomas, huh? Actually, that goes for everybody. And speaking of wasted time, we are here tonight to honor Jesse Thomas. Oh, Jesse Thomas, the man, the myth, the guy with a little too much gut and tit. Jesse, you look beautiful as always. I just want to say thank you for inviting me. You know, when I first took Jesse under my wing, he was just a wide-eyed open micer. And now, all these years later, he's being roasted in a pizzeria. Fuck me. You know, I'd like to stand up here and make fun of Jesse's professional accomplishments, but I do need material. You know, perhaps you've heard Jesse's greatest comedic work. It's a little joke that he likes to call hip to be bare. Every time I hear that joke, I have to wonder to myself, is this joke your coup de grace? Is this joke your masterpiece? Or is this joke just a weird, twisted, masturbatory fantasy involving David C. Wingfield? That's a legitimate question. Legitimate question. Hey, Jesse Thomas, John D. Miller called. He wants his face back. All right. You know, Jesse Thomas is a very skilled comedian. I've seen Jesse do well in front of audiences of every size. I once saw him kill in front of a crowd of 12 people. The only problem is that crowd was inside of a bigger crowd. Which is inside of a bigger crowd. Which is inside of a bigger crowd. That's my favorite joke of the night. Over the past 5 years, Jesse Thomas has weaseled his way into my inner circle. He has somehow become one of my favorite people and a dear friend. And, you know, tonight I want to make sure that we all know is a celebration of Jesse's time in Richmond. Jesse has a love for comedy, and he has true talent. Talent that shines right through his laziness. He has made countless contributions to the local comedy scene, and I know for a fact that this town and the people in this town hold a very special place in his heart. So I think that's important to be said tonight. And, before we go any further, Jesse wanted me to explain the rules tonight. Apparently, if you finish as one of the top 3 roasters, you get automatic entry into the next roast. And if you win 3 roasts, you get a paid MC week at the Funny Bone. With that said, let the roasting begin! You know, in my opening statements, I called Tom Dustin a nobody. And that is not fair, and it's not true. You can't possibly be a nobody if you're selling fire wallets. Right, buddy? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome comedy legend Tom Dustin.
Keep it going for the schnoz, everybody. Everybody, come on. It might sound a lot, it's strange to me that I drove 600 miles to come here and make fun of my friends and Ray Bullock. But I did it. And here we are at the 955 Club, a club named after Roy Rogers' weight. You gotta keep it going with the roast master, Nick Cantone, everybody. Nick Cantone, very professional. Oh, you really nailed it. You nailed it. But, I mean, everyone, we all have the same, I know we all think the same way. When you look at Cantone's face, it's like looking at the wall at an Applebee's. Like, there's just a bunch of random shit thrown up there. No one knows why, and it just makes you lose your appetite. Cantone's face is fucking cartoonish. His nose looks like a cartoon. If you've ever seen the Disney classic Pinocchio, it's like the whale in Pinocchio. I'm a lot out of order here. I love that fucking Applebee's joke. Odyssey Michaels. He's actually the guy I met before I met any of you. I met Odyssey Michaels. We were on an audition together in Columbus, Ohio, where I got a bunch of work, and he remained in Virginia. That's not his real name, though. Did you know what his Odyssey Michaels' real name is? Michael Jackson. And as we all know, Michael Jackson, wildly successful, hugely talented, and very dead. And if Odyssey could just be any one of those things, And you got Ray Bullock or Derek from The Bartender. I don't know. Ray Bullock is actually the ugly Derek. I don't know. And Derek is the funny Ray Bullock. I just want to know, Derek, if you're here, who's guarding the cake pops on the bar? Cake pops, everybody. That's Dave Wingfield. Dave Wingfield. Yay! This was a hard roast to write for because I only know two things about Dave Wingfield. There's only two memorable things, and that is he's married to an Indian woman, and she makes amazingly wonderful cake pops. So the two things that are memorable about Dave Wingfield aren't even about Dave Wingfield. By the way, Alfred Hitchcock called. He wants his profile back. I'm just kidding. Nobody called for you. Where's Buzz? All right, here we go. Fucking Buzz. I mean, I just thought I'd say his name and we'd get a laugh. Buzz with one Z. Hey, you gotta distinguish yourself from all the other fucking idiots called Buzz. You know, if you take away that one Z that you do have, you end up with a crowd response at Jesse Jarvis's act. That is boo. Boo. Roy Rogers? Roy Rogers has 2 jokes and 3 shirts, and they all stink. In writing for this roast, I tried to imagine Roy having sex with his black girlfriend. I hope you all will take a moment and just try to picture that. I hope you came up with what I came up with, and that is a mound of melting vanilla ice cream with a little chocolate sauce on top. It's exactly like that. But it smells nothing like that. Doesn't it kind of, when you think of Roy fucking his girlfriend, it makes you a little nauseous, but it also makes you want to donate to the earthquake people in Haiti. I like that one. Where am I? Jesse Jarvis. Now this joke stinks. Jesse Jarvis, if you took Jesse Jarvis's initials and you mixed it with Odyssey Michael's act, you end up with J.J. Walker. Now, hey, what did you write today? Fuck you guys. I wrote all of this today. Jesse Jarvis has been as funny as often as Roy Rogers has ordered a salad. Not very often. Corey Marshall, he's the other black, kind of. Corey Marshall is the funniest ticket booth girl in the industry, I think. If you ever want a really good perspective, a funny thing, a funny, unique experience with a black comedian, you can go and see Corey Marshall, and he will sell you a ticket to see Gary Owen. He sells barbecue sauce. Does he know? He's got barbecue sauce sponsorship. And I've had the barbecue sauce. It's amazing. It makes everything better, and that's why I think he should pour it on Andrew Pauly's notebook. We'll pour half of it on there and then pour the other half on Wingfield's life. David C. Wingfield. I don't know what the C stands for, but I'm pretty sure it's not comedy. Rick, you're the toughest one to do, because Rick is the manager at a comedy club, and you know, in this business we're in show business, in the comedy industry, Rick is well known as a very competent restaurant manager. Yeah. Rick actually has a 20-month-old child under his shirt right now. I think it's twins. They told They told Rick he was going to go to a roast. He grabbed a bib and some of Corey's barbecue sauce. He should not be here. And everyone's afraid to make fun of you. That's the thing. Like, everyone was like, hey, don't make that joke. But you gotta have balls to come up here. Or at least ball. Yeah. I told him I'd try.
I didn't know you had started.
Yeah, this whole thing, a roast, it's about seeing how far you can take a punchline, not how far you can move your hairline. I wrote that at the bar, thank you. Save it for your turn, buddy. I do want to say something to everybody here, and that is, Richmond comedians, you should all be really ashamed. Like, you should be embarrassed, all of you. If you're in the audience or on the dais, most of you have lost a contest, a comedy contest, to a retarded man named after a bounce, named after a dryer sheet. That's like losing a juggling contest to fucking whatever her name is, the girl I do the joke about. What is it? Bethany Hamilton. It's like losing a juggling contest with Bethany Hamilton. I'm going way over, too. I got Wingfield punchline. No, okay. Wingfield. Ashamed of yourselves. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. You have all lost a comedy contest to a retarded guy named after what Roy's tits do when he runs. Let's bounce. Did I get almost everybody? I think all the good. My idea was to name everybody's comedy album. Like, that would be a fun thing. Like Cantone, you could call it. Well, you'd have to have Wingfield doing his. Wingfield's actually an auctioneer by trade, like more so than a comedian, I think. And if you stood in front of Cantone's nose, it would seem like an episode of Storage Wars. I don't know. I'm reaching now. All right. I know. Hey, take it easy. I'm not doing that bad. I've seen Jarvis on stage. Jarvis on stage, I can do it. The audience impression of Jesse Jarvis doing his act is the same reaction that they had at a theater in Colorado recently, when they were like, hey, is this part of the show? No, this is fucking horrible. I'm out of here. Jarvis actually has that creepy look about him. He kind of looks like that guy, James Holmes. Except for that guy, James Holmes, has managed to kill at least 12 people. And everyone else is upset. All right. I guess that's it. Other than Buzz being a karaoke retard. Buzz, don't be excited about being good at karaoke. There's a bunch of guys on this dais that can grab a microphone and use somebody else's art into it. That joke was about Ray Bullock. All right. I guess it's Jesse. Our night is here for Jesse Thomas. Jesse Thomas, everybody, around one more. Well, you're a hard guy to write for because I love you. And you're a wonderful dude, and I'm glad that you've hit the ceiling here in Richmond. I don't know if any of you have the chance to read. There's an article, RMA magazine or something. I actually have it right here. RVA magazine. Yeah, ooh, you knew that right away. This is the opening line, and I couldn't read the rest of the article because I was pissing blood from laughing. At age 26, Jesse Thomas is about as accomplished as most Richmond comedians can be. Really? So when you get to that point, when you hit the glass ceiling here in Richmond, you know your next move, not LA, not New York, your parents' house. That's where you should move. Now, I'm just wondering, what if you hit it really big in Washington, D.C.? What if you hit the ceiling there? What, are you going to crawl back into your mother's cunt? I don't know. Jesse's had a rocky love life. I don't know if you're familiar with any of those stories. Watching Jesse date a girl is like watching Bounce play solitaire. I don't know why it's happening, but I know it's going to end with cheating. This is a hard business. This is a tough business we're in. This is a tough business. It's very easy in this business to get fucked by everybody. It's kind of like being any of Jesse's girlfriends. But I'll tell you this, you have accomplished one thing, and that is I love you, and I'm glad I got to come down and make fun of you, and thanks everybody, good night.
Hey guys, one more time for Tom Dustin right there. Tom Dustin is the king of all haters. It's true. It's Tom, you're an inspiration to us all. You are exactly what none of us want to be, which is an overpriced opening act. With a career summed up by the name of this great establishment, Bottoms Up. Thank you, Tom. And right now, your next roaster coming to the stage, let me just say, following Tom Dustin in a roast is like following Tom Dustin into a bar. There's just nothing left. But if anyone can do it, it's Ray Bullock. His comedy is a force of nature. Hurricane Katrina was a devastation. The oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico was a catastrophe. These events are nothing compared to your act. Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Bullock.
Keep it going for Cantone, everybody. Keep it going for this SpongeBob SquarePants villain Squidward looking fuck. Look at you. I'm serious, man. How is it possible? You have the face of a 20s gangster and the body of an 11-year-old girl. How do you match those two up? I'm serious. And speaking of 11-year-old girls, Jesse Jarvis, everyone. Serious, man, you were one pink dress away from doing a guest episode on iCarly. I'm just saying. Oh, dear God. How is it possible your girlfriend has a bigger cock than you? How is that possible? She keeps it in her purse. She takes it out at parties. It's fun. Speaking of things, Andrew Pauly, I will not make fun of you, Andrew. I will not. Because I thoroughly enjoy those cookies your people make in that tree. Serious, when you came up here, I was expecting Orlando Bloom to be following you dressed like an elf. What the fuck? Have fun dropping the ring. Anyway. Alright, before we go any further, someone could not be here tonight. Someone who really wanted to be, but couldn't be. Tom Schaefer. He couldn't be here because we had reached a quota for people who had burned bridges in comedy and also run comedy clubs into the ground because Odyssey Michaels is already here. It's true. It's true. We also have, from the Richmond Funny Bone, Buzz, ladies and gentlemen. Buzz runs the soundboard at the Richmond Funny Bone. This man knows comedy. He knows comedy because he has lost karaoke contests for years. I'm serious. You know what's funny, Buzz? Playing what's that song he plays? Happy Trails whenever Roy Rogers comes on stage. He plays it for like 3 minutes. That's comedy gold. That's just great, Buzz. That's fantastic. That's almost as funny as, interrupting the announcements periodically. That's good time. That was just funny for me. Fuck y'all. Alrighty.
It was funny for me.
You're playing Happy Trails, because Roy Rogers is named after a cowboy that only Buzz is old enough to remember. But give it up for Tom Dustin one more time. Funny stuff from Tom. I'm really glad I got to know Tom because I've always wanted to know what it would be like if Mark Wahlberg was a midget heroin addict. Tonight we also got Rick, ladies and gentlemen. Rick, for those of you who don't know, Rick was the GM at the Richmond Funny Bone. And I will say this. When Rick came here, he made a comedy haven for comics. We knew if we came to Rick's room, he would show us what we were capable of in comedy, what we were able to do on stage, how we were able to craft a joke, and whether or not we were worthy to even be there. Granted, he moved to Virginia Beach and forgot all that shit. So don't you worry, you Virginia Beach comics who barely have 3 minutes. All 44 of you will be doing feature spots at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone in the near future. Saying Jim Stewart feature act at the Funny Bone is like saying Kelly Henderson tight vagina. It just doesn't go together, people. A little too harsh off the gate? Okay, we'll go on. I'll go, I'm going to rush through this real quick because, you know, David C. Wingfield found out we have donuts and he's getting antsy. Don't get too crazy. Corey might think that you're Fat Albert's ghost and want to put you on television or something. But I do want to talk about Jesse Thomas real quick. Jesse, for those of you who have not actually watched Jesse, many of you are servers at the Funny Bone, you don't get a chance to watch. Here's pretty much Jesse Jarvis's act for you. Here we go.
Thomas.
Oh, same thing. Except one of them might actually get fucked after the show. Anyway, here we go. Jesse Thomas's act. I'm just going to stand here and look at the floor for about 10 minutes while I rock back and forth. Dick Deer. Alrighty, whenever I have a chance with a woman that's actually interested in me, I'm going to cock block myself. Harambe! That's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Jesse Thomas's exact act right there. Now, but in all seriousness, man, you're always kind to a lot of comics, and that's why everybody is here. You're a good guy. You're a wonderful person. That's why people actually came out to shit on you. I mean, it's true. It's true. I mean, we've all seen what, you know, a roast where people hate each other, and that was Travis Charles, ladies and gentlemen. Please, a moment of silence for Travis Charles, not because he's passed away, just because everything else he's touched has died. Just a moment there. That'd be nice. No, but serious, people love you, man, and I was trying up here to make fun of you, and it didn't go well, you know, much like the last time you were on stage. So it's, no, but seriously, man, you're a beautiful human being, and you picked up the mantle when it was lost for the Clash of Comics, and you're giving a lot of people some wonderful opportunities, and we all love you, and I thank you so much. I'm glad to know you, brother. I really am. Thank you.
Keep it going for Ray Bullock, everybody.